Right now, I know I am always enthusiastic about my guests, and with reason, as I believe we are all exceptional in our own way. But today, the woman we are lucky to have as guest is truly remarkable by anybody's books. Claudia Koolhoorn, she's a brain specialist. She's actually featured before on this program about the difference between male and female brains, which was absolutely fascinating. She's a transformational therapist, she's a coach, a counselor, and she's a living embodiment of what mindset can do. But to be honest, there's an awful lot that I could say about you, Claudia. So maybe for the sake of our audience, how do you introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you, Julie. Well, my name is Claudia Koolhoorn. I'm from the Netherlands, and I describe myself as a therapist who works with women to achieve lasting mindset and behavior change. That's
Right.
my work. My mission is to at least help 1,000 women set themselves free before my time is up in this world.
That is a mission.
That is a mission, but I'm going very well with that.
Well, I see what you're doing. I mean, you're very active, so I can imagine
Yeah.
you're making good progress towards your 1,000.
Yes, because I've been doing this work for a long time. So I'm right now about 800 women plus. So
Oh,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
fantastic.
And maybe when I reach it, the 1,000, I will increase the number. Who
Maybe
knows?
you will. Exactly.
Who knows? But I'm an entrepreneur and I am chronically ill. And a part of my mission is to explain to women that you can achieve anything you want within your own boundaries. And I think that's the topic of today also, what we're talking
That is
about, because a lot of people look at me and think, wow, this woman's in a wheelchair, seen as an assistant dog. My husband, who is the most great man for me, at least in the world, does everything around the house so I can have energy enough to work. Then
doing
people
all
look at
these
me
things,
and they
right?
ask me, why do you still work? You don't have to work because you're ill. And I said, I do have to work because that's what I want to do.
Right.
And that's one of my key points in life is do what you want to do.
Right.
Stop caring about what other people think what you
Yeah.
should do or what they want you to do. Listen to your own heart.
Right. And it's not even just that you work. I see you on social media a lot. You're very active and you're a burst of sunshine. Right? You even have something called what's it called? The positivity shots or something, don't you?
Yes, yes, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I
it's
got
not even
my company Instagram where I just share about my work and mindset and self-love and things like that. And when I was in the hospital 2 years ago, I asked my husband to bring my laptop and he said, no way, you're going to work and you're not allowed to. And then I thought, but I have my phone. So what can I do? And I thought I start another Instagram account and I just give people every day a little shot of positivity about themselves, about the world. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years also.
amazing.
And I love it.
And that's why I am so happy to have you here today. And our topic is you are only limiting yourself. And I mean, so you've touched on it before. I mean, if someone can talk about limitations being dished out in life, it is you. You have really had more than your fair share of limitations at various stations in your life, right? I mean, the first
Yes.
one started pretty young, and we're talking about serious limitations. I saw just yesterday you put this post about it being International Asthma Day. I used to have
Yes.
asthma as a child, so I reacted to that, and it was a beautiful post about being aware, you know, things like perfume and all of that. Then I realized that you also have very serious asthma linked to also smells, and people can't have perfume, or you have to
Yes.
clean the house on different days, etc. And you are really out there each time taking something like that and turning something beautiful. That post yesterday was all about awareness raising. And I was thinking, well,
Yes.
do I even think when I spray myself with perfume that there may be people at the meeting who have this sort of reactions to it? It is all about creating awareness and making the world a better place. So let's talk about limitations. Where do we start? I mean, let's be honest. This morning we plugged in here and I said, how are you? And she said, well, you know, yeah, but last week was a rough week. I was in hospital again. And I'm thinking, well, there she is, still turning up here, you know, whether big things or small things. It's about turning up then, isn't it? Tell us, how have you developed this mindset over limitations? And so many people I see around me just, you know, complain for the smallest things.
Yes.
Where it used to make me really angry, and I used to say to them, what about thinking about someone else? Then you move out of your, what I call navel gazing. Well, I was going to say the French word, but just looking at yourself and everything that's missing, or everything that someone, God knows who, seems to have taken away from you. How do you do it?
Well, I started very young, actually, because in my early 20s, I had a big depression, a real big, dark depression. And when I started to climb out of that, I thought, is this how I want to be? Is this who I want to be? Is this how I want to live my life? And I had enough reasons to get depressed without going into details. I had a very rough childhood. And then I decided, but I'm a grown woman now. So I decide how my life is going to look, and I'm going to take charge. And if you look at the scientific world, and there's a lot of research going on about why people are happy or not happy. And one of the key things in that is that people who feel a lack of control over their life are very much unhappy. So the people who feel they are in control, happier.
Right.
And I like to make a small adjustment to that, because it's not control you need. You don't need control, because control has a negative load on it.
Yeah.
And control is something we don't have.
No.
We can't control.
Did you choose any of these things which have happened to you?
It is.
No.
You can't control who's coming from the right or left. You can't control how fast your hair grows, things like that. We don't control a lot in our life. So I think for me, it's the wrong approach. It's all about taking responsibility and reign over your own life.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to do that is what I learned in my life and what I learn my clients, is to look at your life and see the negative things and the painful things and the hurt, and it's all part of you. It makes you who you are. But you can also look at what is possible, or what is still possible. And that's my greatest strength.
Yes. Yes, because you've sort of really made it into it. I mean, it's been an ongoing journey, right? So you've had various bouts of cancer. You've had corona 4 times, you've
4
got
times,
this.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as if it's...
disease, lung disease.
Yes,
I've had
yes,
anorexia in the past.
yes.
Yeah.
And then the vibrant, very active young woman in a wheelchair, depending on an most adorable dog, to get your pull your socks up and stuff like that. Look at what you have created. And I mean, if anybody's walked the talk, it's you, right? And it's not about doing it once and then being proud. Okay, this happened to me. I didn't like it. What can I choose to believe about that thing which will make me feel empowered? But I mean, you've been hit and again and again and again and again. But still, each time you have deepened this responsibility taking, right? I like that, because it isn't controlled. You haven't controlled all these things which have happened to you. None of us can.
None of us, no.
But we can control is how we take responsibility for it. So, because it is horrible if we think that we're just puppets and that some external force or life or whatever is just playing with us, and sometimes knocking this one down, and this one gets a golden spoon and everything goes well, and this one's got a black star over its head, then we feel totally disempowered. Then we feel that we indeed have no control, nothing to say about our life, that we just need to submit and endure what needs to be endured. But that isn't it. That we can all choose, right, what we do with this.
Yes, and it starts all with how you look at yourself and your life.
Right.
Because if you look at your life and you regard it as negative or hopeless or not good enough or whatever, you will react to the world in that way.
Yes.
But if you choose to look at your life as, yes, problematic sometimes, for sure, but also a very rich life, a very happy life, because happiness lies in the smallest things. It's not about that big trip to Australia or sailing around the world. Okay, it's lovely if you can do that in your life. I don't like sailing, so call me. But happiness is far more, for me, waking up each morning and realizing I am so lucky to live another day.
Yes. Oh, how
I'm still
beautiful.
here. That's my
But that
first
is true.
thing
It's
in
the
the
miracle of
morning.
life, right? It's
Yeah.
every morning embracing and thinking in that way also enables you to be open with gratitude towards
Yes.
life. Gratitude is looking at what you have and not at what you
Yes.
don't have. I'm just about to launch one of those 28 days magic
Ah,
because I just love
yes.
gratitude. I think gratitude,
Yes,
I'm a very
because
grateful person.
gratitude is the energy for positive life,
Right.
for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what you don't have or what other people have instead of you lose track of what you already got. And
Yeah.
well, for some, for sure, are struggling with finance or other things, but we, at least in the Netherlands, almost everyone has a roof above their heads. We have
Right.
clean water, we have warm water, cold water, we got food on the table, and maybe it's a sandwich,
Yeah.
but it's still food.
Yeah. And if you appreciate that instead of
Yeah.
looking at the, the steak on the other man's
And I'm
table,
not about ignoring the bad things in life, not at all.
well, no,
It's not
you,
about
you
pushing
don't
it
have any
away
choice anyway, do you? I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to
because
face them, right?
you got the toxic positivity thinking
Yes.
that people are learning through social media, which I
Yeah.
am very, very scared of because it actually tells people deny your problems and just say
Yeah.
to yourself, it's not happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
You're
it is
right.
happening.
Yeah.
So look
Yeah.
at it. If you got pain, if you got emotions, experience them, and then you can go on. But if you
Yeah.
push them away, you will hold on to it and it will affect you in a negative way. And it
Yeah.
gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And we all know this. And
Yes.
in our age group right now, I got a lot of birthdays coming up, and my girlfriends are talking about I'm getting older, I'm above 50, my life is over, I'm into the menopause shizzle. And I go like, but girls, it's just a natural period in your life.
Yeah.
It's the menopause is the same as going into menstruating when you are young.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
because then you go from a
yeah.
child to a woman who can bear children,
Yes.
and then you go into another transition because you don't have to anymore.
Exactly. That's a perfect example, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
perfect example. This is a Fabulous After 50. We are all in that phase. We are all going through menopause in one way or with help or not with help. I mean, there are days too where I'm like, the headaches and insomnia, and I've put on, I don't know how many kilos, which I don't like, etc. But indeed, at the same time, I'm thinking, yes, but that menopause is the the yin and the yang of having had those menstruating years, of having, I mean, not everybody has children, not very obviously, but I have. So then I think, well, there we are. I am grateful for these three little beings, or huge beings now, that I brought to life, and this is what goes with it, right?
Yes.
And so it's also a different phase. And okay, I'm a Buddhist, and I would find it a bit hard to say to somebody like you who has been hit with so much that we even believe that we actually have chosen these obstacles, that's why we have chosen to come back to reincarnate in this lifetime, in this body. It's because we want to teach or show, or we have a mission, we have something that we want to contribute through it. But I would say, even if we don't go to that extreme, it is the idea of taking poison and turning it into medicine. And that poison is without our control. People who have illnesses, who lose children, who lose jobs, who, catastrophical stuff happens, lightning burns their entire house to the ground and all that. None of us have chosen any of that, and it's awful. But we do still have that personal choice, like you said, to how do we look at it.
Yeah.
It's those black glasses and pink glasses, the full glass and the empty glass, isn't it? It's, oh, but I'm still alive. Oh, but nobody died in the fire. Oh, but, we live in the sort of society where, I don't have my big, beautiful house, but I have a roof over my head. What am I going to now create that I don't have that house? What's it going to bring me to do? I was telling you about my friend who lost a child at the age of almost 18, an extremely healthy child. Yeah, I mean, what does that
And
do to
I
you?
can imagine that losing a child is the worst thing that can happen to
Yes,
a parent.
yes. Yes. And the
Of
pain never
course it
goes
is.
away, as she said, but she has transformed this into the most incredible mission. So there
Yes,
is a choice. She is
there is a
finding
choice.
still happiness. Yes, she
Yeah,
misses him every day and it will never ever go away and the pain will never go away, but you can still enjoy happy moments. You can have a mission in life. So
exactly.
you have on the one side an amazing academic background and all the studies and all of that, and then you have taken also these sort of things which have happened to you and created programs out of it with which you help other people change their mindset. Like you said, I mean, mindset is everything. It really is absolutely
Yes.
everything.
How I like to explain it to women, because mindset is really a male thing.
Okay.
Just a little bit back to the
The
difference
word itself,
between
or
male and female brains.
yeah,
Mindset is all about thinking,
yes, yes,
but women are led by emotions.
yes.
So the well-known phrase, 80% of your success is being formed by your mindset. Yes, but that's greatly for men. For women, it is 80% of your success is caused by your mindset, and your mindset comes from your
Your
heart
emotion
set.
from your heart
From
set.
your heart set. So you
Oh,
need, if you are experienced trauma or pain or whatever, you need to heal from here to get
mm,
your mindset
mm,
right. And
mm.
that's what I learn my clients most.
That is so
And that's what
clever.
I learned.
But that is so clever, and I hadn't thought of that. I mean, I know thanks to your actually podcast about the male and female brain, you know, about that big difference between us and the amount of emotions that we feel and witness, and that's the
Yes.
beautiful beings that we are, and it serves us nurture the world and do good, right? We need the male and the female. But it's true. I talk about mindset all the time. We talk about the
Yes.
mind, right? But it's not the, but we are so heart set is such a beautiful term. So it's really I love what you said before also about acknowledging those emotions, right?
Yes.
It's
That's the
not
big
about sticking
part.
them under saying, oh, everybody's happy. Let's just put some happy music on and pretend it doesn't happen. Because the
No,
truth is, as well, you can only do that for so long. At some point, I always
exactly.
believe
And
it comes
of
out. The
course,
body will create a symptom or
yes,
whatever it is to say, you're not listening.
yes. And if you don't listen to the whispers of your body, it will start screaming.
A nice quotation again. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a very good one. But
So
these things are
listen,
so true because we feel it, what you say. If
yes,
you don't
listen
listen
to
to
the
your body's
whispers of
whispers,
your own body and of your own soul. That's what determines your heart set. Because if you have problems with getting older, for example, oh, I'm over 50, I'm getting near 60, my life is over. No, it's not over. It was over for our grandmas at the
mhm.
time. They
And
became
even then, not all of
elderly
them.
women. We
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah.
But with age comes a lot of benefits.
Yes,
It really comes
yes.
because when you get older, like your eyesight might get worse. For me, in the last few years, my eye, you can see it really, but I can look for about a meter, and beyond that, it's
Wow,
all blur.
gosh.
But I can honestly say that my bullshit detector has raised enormously.
Yeah.
And
And you
that comes with
focus, of
age.
course, because you're not looking all over the place. You're
No, but it
focused,
also
right?
comes with age because when you get older, you get wiser.
Yes.
So when we talk to women about over 50, for the most of them, it goes like, okay, I'm not so much troubled anymore with what other people think.
Exactly.
Why is that? Because the focus is going away from the other people to yourself.
Right.
And that's
Right.
part of menopause, girls.
Yeah.
That's a
It is.
change in your
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
When you get pregnant, your brain will change, literally, because the focus will go off from yourself to creating a baby, and the baby is the most important thing in your life. So you will get more empathic with other people because you
Right.
need to take care of your family. With menopause, you get another change in your brain, and you get the luxury of focusing on yourself more.
How wonderful. Because I always thought it's because, you know, for those of us who do have children, you know, there's none of that running around behind them anymore. So we have more brain space there. Or, you know, if we're talking about careers, usually it's not the point where we're full, you know, going fast. You know, we're doing our stuff and we're growing, of course, because that's who we are. But there's less of a, I have to prove myself, I have
Yes,
to do this.
exactly.
But I hadn't actually thought of it that way, is that it is also, because it is about us, but then at the same time, what I also very much like about this group is that often it's also about what we can contribute to the
Yes.
others. So, but from, as you say, from us, not what do
Yes.
they think, what are they going to say, what, you know, I think that is the most liberating thing about this age group. I am really
Exactly.
so not concerned anymore. You know, my daughter's like, you shouldn't put that on Instagram and you shouldn't do that. And I'm a bit like, watch me. I'm going to do what I feel like. This
Yeah.
is my free to be me period.
And how lovely
Right?
it is that we overcome our insecurities.
Yes. Yeah. And we own our own bullshit else, I think. You know, there's
Yes,
loads of things I don't like about myself, but I don't go around terrified somebody's going to find out or what. So I say, yep, that's not my forte. I'm working on some parts of it. And for the rest, hey, that's who I am, right? I can't be brilliant
exactly.
at everything.
And you can have thoughts like, I put on some weight because of the menopause. Yes, and you're still okay.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
how you feel about that part of yourself determines how you show up in the world.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
judge yourself for those kilos and you're very unhappy with it, don't complain about it. Do something about it.
Right.
Do
Right.
something about it which makes you feel better. Not because you think your husband or your children or your girlfriends will like you
Yeah.
more because you're
Yeah.
getting thinner or fitter, but because you feel better about yourself.
And that's right. It's what we say to ourselves as well, right?
Yes,
Because, I mean, there's one thing is, you know, I always say, change what you can change and embrace the rest. You know, if you can't change it for some reason, just why put energy there? If there's nothing you can do anyway, put your energy somewhere
yes,
else. But as you say, it's how we're judging ourselves, which
yes.
reflects on the rest. Right. Now we're going beautifully out of time as usual. I could speak to you for at least 2-hour episodes,
Of
but I'm
course,
also
of course.
respectful. You also need to conserve your energy as well. If I ask you to summarize some of all of these incredible pearls of wisdom you've just listened into 3 tips, what would you say?
Recognize your own limiting thoughts
Yes.
and do something about it. Because we women have a natural gift of visualizing. And I use a lot of visualization in my therapy. And I get women who say, I can't visualize, I can't do it. And I said, congratulations, you're a unique species. And they go like, what? Because if you can't visualize, you don't have self-criticism.
Oh,
You have
yes.
no
Yeah,
fears.
yeah,
Because that's just going to the dark side of it, but you can
yeah,
also go to the positive side. So recognize your own negative and limiting thoughts and look at the other side.
right. How can you
Because we
switch
live in a
it?
world of and not of.
Yes, yes,
That's my main tip. And following that, be mindful of what you say to yourself because you listen to yourself so very well. For example, if the whole world says to you, you're so beautiful, but you feel like you have a very big ass, that's your main focal point, right?
yeah,
So it doesn't matter what anybody says,
yeah,
that's what you're worried about.
yeah.
So what do you do with that? Do you keep saying to yourself, that's what I got,
Mm,
and that's the worst
mm.
part of me? Or do you look at it functions,
Yes,
sit on it,
yes,
I still have great legs, I have beautiful eyes, my body takes care of me.
yeah,
Just be careful what you say
yeah,
to yourself.
yeah.
Of course, we all have things we don't like about
Yeah,
ourselves. I've got really gray
true, I
hair.
find, but well, there we go.
I'm,
See, I
I'm
find
not
you look
very worried
radiant,
about
so
it, but when
yeah.
people make a comment about it, for, oh, you're getting really gray, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's true, it's true. But I don't say that to myself. If I judge myself, I will put myself down.
Yeah. And your hair looks gorgeous, and at least you have hair, right? I mean, you've also
Exactly.
been through
I've
periods
lost
of
it
your
5
life
times.
when you always, I remember when I first saw you without the
Yeah,
turban on your head, I was like, oh, look at her beautiful hair. I didn't
yeah,
think, oh, it's gray or it's whatsoever. I thought,
yeah.
oh, you know, I'd never seen you with your hair. So, I mean,
Well, I
yeah.
stopped painting my hair because of love of myself.
Yes. Yes.
Because if I paint my hair, it will get more damage. It's already damaged by
Yeah.
chemo.
Yeah.
So just
it's
take care
beautiful
of
and
it.
it suits you. And it's what we've got, right? It's the same with all these wrinkles. Do I sometimes look at myself in the mirror and think, gosh, I sometimes have to look for where exactly is my eye, to put an eye drop in. There's so many wrinkles in it. But that's who I am. And I'm
Yeah,
also proud of them. They show my age. They show my
exactly.
battles. They show that I've lived. I would much
Yes,
prefer that than looking like a plastified, Barbie. That's
yes,
not me. So yes,
exactly.
you look
And
gorgeous.
gray hairs are just sparkles of wisdom, right?
Yes.
And what I like to encourage women over 50 is keep your brain fit by staying
Right.
curious.
Right.
Don't fall into the trap of not not caring about
Yeah. Yeah.
learning new things,
Yeah.
because you age really fast if you don't keep your brain fit.
That's a very good one. And I'm really glad that you actually formulate that because, lots of people say to me, oh, you don't look as if you're approaching 57 and, you're still, just like a teenager wondering what you want to do when you grow up and all of that. But I do believe that beyond the fact that I have been blessed with a lot of natural positivity, which has very much helped me over the years think, okay, that was not what I wanted. That was not what I planned. That hurt. But the next day, bouncing back to, okay, what can I do about it? And I'm sure there's something good around the corner, etc. But to come back to what you've just said about curiosity, I am incredibly curious about everything, about people, which is why
Yeah.
people say, oh, but you're so good at anything. I am genuinely curious. It's not a script. I'm curious to how people think, I'm curious about diversity. I'm curious about, I try to travel as much as I can,
Yeah.
with all our limitations and all the rest. Diversity is almost like a hope, right? It's that we're growing through learning. It's wanting to understand how the world works, how people think,
Yes.
how they react. And it's like forward going, right? To me, the opposite of curiosity is just like
Hold
accepting.
still.
It's still, right?
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. You're just stagnant. And that, I think, for me is
Yeah, and if you
probably,
look at really elderly people, like in their 80s or 90s, the people who are not curious anymore to other people or the world or books or whatever, they're not so happy.
yeah,
And their brains are deteriorating far more faster
yeah,
than the elderly people who still are curious, who watch television or listen to the radio, talk to people, because curiosity gives you energy. It creates contact with the world and other
yes,
people. So
I love it.
it keeps you alive. And our brain really is the most important part of our body that keeps you alive.
Yeah. And I'm just so in awe of everything that you know about the brain. I mean, it really is, it's so much. I mean, I'm hoping there's going to be lots of books coming out there so that you really have, content that you can share with the world. Because, I mean, I love the fact you're at 800 odd women. You affect so much more of us, just by constantly your posts and what you put on, whether LinkedIn or Instagram or whatsoever. It's always inspiring. I have never seen anything from you that has left me, neutral or that I've rushed through. And I'm very
Oh,
grateful for that
that's so
because,
lovely to hear.
but it is true. I am saying it very honestly. And I do because I react and with whole heart. I mean, I find you one of the most inspirational women in my environment. And that you also have the energy, or you found, or you make, let's say, the energy within all the limitations that you have in your life in order to be doing this good and sharing this knowledge that you have. So in summary, I mean, we've covered so much, I don't even want to summarize the points, but we were talking about curiosity, we were talking about limitations, as in limiting mindset or heart set, working on our heart set. I love that one. And we were talking about what we say to ourselves. And I catch myself hundreds of times a day, even at 57, after years of self-work. Oh,
We
we
all
are
do
our
that.
worst enemy. We are so
Yes.
mean to ourselves.
Yes.
It's time to stop that and embrace these amazing years that we have. So Claudia, thank you for your mission. I'm sure that this will not be the last one. If you have even a
I
bit more
hope
energy
not.
left for us. And for those who want to get hold of you, I will put everything in the show notes. So for people wanting to follow one of your coaching courses, for people wanting to follow you on social media, your positivity mind shots, whatever it is, I'll make sure everything is there so that, we
Great.
brighten up the world one person at a time, and you brighten a lot of us up. So I thank you very, very much for this.
Thank you for having me.
All the very best to you, and always a pleasure. Bye, Claudia.
Bye.